In what way can I say the soul is pure and untouched by matter, because the soul is there to suffice the enjoyment?
Yes, well, the soul is compared to a spark. So the spark is always a spark of pure consciousness. So it's always brilliant with consciousness. But the contamination assembles around, just around the spiritual spark. This Chaito Darpanamarjan, this statement by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, says the mirror of the mind becomes covered with dust. So when you look into a mirror, you're seeing the reflection of yourself. Now if there's some mark on the mirror across your face, some mark of dust, streak of dust or something, it may appear that your face is dirty when you look in the mirror. Oh wait, oh that's on the glass, on my face. That's because you're seeing only reflection. So the mirror of the mind has been explained by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It means the mirror of consciousness. And consciousness appears in this conditioned state as the mind. Consciousness is the symptom of the soul. So consciousness is like the rays of the soul. So in those rays of awareness, the impurities in the form of anartha bijas, or sinful desires for unwanted sense gratification, they assemble around the soul. So when we look into the reflection of consciousness, we can, just like this expression, in at least in the English language, when you say you reflect on a problem, or you reflect on your situation, or you reflect on yourself, it means you think about yourself. It means you're using your consciousness to think about yourself, or think about something. So we rely on consciousness to form our perceptions, our understanding of things. So if the consciousness is impure, then it's, Lord Chaitanya explains, it's like looking into a dirty mirror. You can't see anything except the dirt. So in the same way, when we use our intelligence or use our consciousness now, we come up with all sorts of nasty, degraded impressions, which are embedded there from our karma, from so many births in this world, so many attempts to enjoy sense gratification. It's all buried there in our consciousness. So we cannot reflect upon our actual self. We can only reflect upon activities of sense gratification and the illusory self of this material body. So if we could penetrate beyond this covering of dirt and filth in the consciousness, then we could reflect upon ourselves, our real self. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says we should engage in Sri Krishna Sankirtan that cleanses the heart, or cleanses the consciousness of all the dust accumulated for many, many years, many, many lifetimes together. When the consciousness becomes pure, then you can see your real self. Now that real self, pure self, original self, is always there. It's just the consciousness that has become pure. Any other questions?
In this example that you gave, then there must have been some separation. Like if the pure consciousness is like a pure mirror, and now you look from outside, how have you come outside? To be on the other side of the dust. If you are actually pure, you always are also in the dust is somewhere else, and you are there. So how what happened?
No, but the awareness, or the how do you say, the cognizance. The cognizance is taking place in the consciousness. Just like now, we understand from Shastra that the mind, the root of the mind is the heart. But when we think, and it's all taking place in the head. The Shastra says the mind is in the heart. So that's because awareness has been projected into the brain. The brain is some sort of biological computer, if you will, if you like this example. And it requires an operator. So the consciousness is projected into the head to manipulate the brain. So therefore we think that thinking is taking place up there. But the brain is, you see, the brain is tuned to operate this body and to assimilate material perceptions. So it's just a site of conditioning. And we're identifying with that conditioning because we want to enjoy matter. So therefore we think we think I am thinking up here. But actually we are thinking down here. Does that make it more clear?
Oh, it makes it work. But if we're actually thinking down there, then we should always be thinking all right.
Yes, well you are in your original state. Because the super soul is there. As I said, Prabhupada explained like this, that the super soul is giving us the proper inspiration to love him, to turn to him. And that's the statement of the Shastra. There are two birds, and one is just waiting, observing, and waiting for the other one to turn to him. But this other one has become fascinated by the fruits in the tree. The fruits in the tree means the opportunities of sense gratification in this body. Now the thing is that, you see, Maya is there. It's not, maybe you have to work Maya into this equation. It makes it more clear, you see. It's not just us and our consciousness, but Maya is there. And Srila Prabhupada said, Maya is the potency of Krishna. Very, very powerful, much more powerful than us. So Maya, when we have the slightest desire to enjoy separately from Krishna, in other words, there is Krishna and Krishna is inviting us, come on, serve me, love me. But we become just slightly distracted somewhere in our consciousness that maybe there's something else. So immediately, Maya seduces us. Maya, because she is the very potency of Krishna, she knows right away that we have this desire, and right away she gives opportunity for us to act on that desire. And what does, we become distracted. And we become conditioned, we become bound. It's not just a matter of something happening on the mental plane. You're like drifting off into a daydream that, and then suddenly snap, oh wait, this is all illusion. Once you get into it, then it's like endless, and that's the meaning, nityavada, endlessly conditioned. Exactly, she's a virus. Viruses are also inconceivable. I read about one that's come out, computer virus, that cannot be detected. It cannot be detected by any virus program. It's impossible to detect. There's no program that can be written for it. I think it's called Destruction Engine or something. It has some interesting name. So this is a good example. The operator is there, he's typing away, but then something else is happening on the screen. But it's maybe not such a good example because he doesn't want that to happen. But the thing is that, or maybe he does, because he's a cheater. Maybe it's like this, because he was a cheater, he got a free program from somewhere that he should have paid for. There was a virus on board on the diskette, and therefore it wrecked his machine. So like that, there's some illicit desire. And Maya comes along and says, oh, yeah, no problem. But then there's a hidden clause in the contract. I'll provide you the sense gratification now, but you have to pay me back throughout all eternity. And then we find ourselves, it's impossible to break that contract. Only Krishna can break it for us. And yet,
you mentioned, I'm just curious, you mentioned about this Brahman, merging into Brahman. We don't have any sense of seeing or hearing that this experience of white light. How do you actually experience any white light if you don't have any sense of seeing?
Yeah, well,
what would actually experience?
As I said, the nature of our nature is consciousness. So consciousness is the, you could say, primeval perception. But consciousness, either in the material world or spiritual world, it becomes channeled. It's channeled by senses. So senses are a natural expansion, actually. Expansion of consciousness. I'm talking with these computer moments, I'm getting into this kind of life. They expand consciousness, or yes, they enhance the original function of the consciousness, which is simply awareness. When it says the constitutional, the constitutional position, this phrase probably uses, of the spirit soul is the 1/10,000th the tip of the hair. That means without any enhancement. They're just a spiritual spark with this raw consciousness. So the senses are added, or are extensions of the consciousness, which give direction to the consciousness, give purpose, like a program, you might say. And then it actually has some function, either spiritual function to serve Krishna, or material function to enjoy material existence. So this Brahma Jnana process, meditation, strips away the material enhancement of consciousness, and then you just have raw awareness. And so that awareness, when it becomes completely free from even the subtle or unmanifest matter, and then it just appears as brilliant light. And that's not seen. I mean, that's not really seen. Just like, if you have a light at night. Now if you shine the light this way, then you can see. But if you look at it, if you turn it and just brilliant light in your own eyes, you don't see anything. If you walk around in the forest with a powerful torch, pointed right at your own pupils, it's like not having any light at all. You'll just as well bump into trees and fall down the well as if you have no light at all. So it's not really seen. The light or the awareness has to be properly directed, and for that you need senses, either spiritual or material. Shall we stop now? Srila Prabhupada ki jai.